Alrighty. Oh, cool. The border's back. It didn't want to play nice earlier, but hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome to the first summer splashdown of 2020. I'm your host, Vid. You may recognize me from the GRLCS spring, or if you're coming back from fall, obviously you'll recognize me from fall. So thank you, everyone, for showing up. It's good to see that we've got a couple of extra viewers. I should probably actually pull that up on this one so that I don't have to keep looking over to the side. So yeah, it is the Summer Splashdown, the podcast for everything to do with Summer Splash. I am your host, and since we aren't going to be doing the full weekly stream that we normally do for GRLCS, it means that I get to spend a little extra time with you every week to recap what happened. Of course, week 1 started yesterday, so we're not going to be recapping anything. In fact, we're going to be previewing a lot of stuff, so let's get into that because we have 20 teams this summer for the GRLCS Summer Splash. So I'm a monkey. I forgot to put in all of my audio inputs and outputs. I meant to do that right before the podcast, and I didn't. So, gold capped is, well, we've got 4 teams, as opposed to the regular 8 that we're running for Platinum and Diamond, but it does mean that I get to go into a little bit more depth for each of these players on the team. So the Gods of Herald are a returning 3rd place team from Spring. However, the 1st and 2nd place teams aren't returning, which means that the Gods of Herald really are the de facto number 1 team. They have gone through 2 little roster swaps. Derisive Oxen, their top laner from last split, is leaving. He is being replaced by Peacemaker 21, and then Oath has moved from Gods of Herald to the other guys. He is replaced by Toe Knuckles. So I'm going to go over Peacemaker and Toe Knuckles because they are the new ones on the Gods of Herald. Peacemaker, he has not been in the GRLCS before. So I did a little bit of digging on solo queue history. It looks like it's mostly Set and Garen. Now that's interesting because Oxen was mainly a supportive top lane player. He played a lot of Shen, he played a lot of Ornn, he picked up the Trundle occasionally as a counter pick. But I'm interested to see if Peacemaker can pick up that sort of supportive play style because Nyrock and Glitter and Gaines did best on Gods of Herald when they could get aggressive early. So, once you hit 6 in the solo lanes, if Nyrock and Glitter can just start to push forward without getting punished because Glitter... Oh, wow, the first season. Okay, Peacemaker is a GRLCS veteran, and he is a veteran. He was back here in 2016, before I was in college. He was in the GRLCS on Team Resolve. So he's back. And he's back on Gods of Herald, and I'm interested to see if he can pick up that team-oriented play style that Derisive Oxen went for. Otherwise, Gods of Herald are going to have to pivot their style. Now, Toe Knuckles, in the mid lane, replacing Oath, he is new to Gods of Herald. He's back after a brief hiatus. I think he took 1 or 2 seasons off, but he was a top laner, now switched to mid. He really doesn't have any mid games in his solo queue, however. He did play Flex a couple times, though, with Gods of Herald, so I'm going to go off of that, where he played Galio and Vladimir. So, if I had to guess off the top of my head, Gods of Herald, depending on what Peacemaker is doing, assuming Taco, Nyrock, Glitter, and Gaines are all going to do the same thing, you're looking at a full team fight, kind of protect the ADC, let the mid laner scale sort of comp. Especially if Toe Knuckles is on something like Galio or Vladimir, something that can really disrupt or just kind of take over the team fight themselves. Now, I went out of order here from the slide. I actually went catty corner to the other guys because that's who Gods of Herald plays, and it was super interesting because I looked at that, and, Oath is the former Gods of Herald mid laner. He's taking on his former team in the first game, so Slim13 Richie and Swagga are both returning from the Muscle Knots from last split, and Swagga has transitioned from jungle to ADC. So let's take a look at him and his solo queue games, because who's that Potter guy? I don't know. That's who was listed. If it's supposed to be you, no clue, but he's stealing your name, Brady. Swagga has like 500 games in solo queue, and he's got a 52% win rate. So I dug through that a little bit to see how much he played on AD. If you remove his jungle games, he actually has a significantly higher than 52% win rate. So maybe it's a good swap. We don't know. We'll have to see what happens this week. However, Slim Richie has over 600 games in solo queue. He's got a 42% win rate, though. A little bit concerning. Muscle Knots did come under a little bit of scrutiny in Gold Cap during the spring because they didn't win a single series. And I think, Oath, obviously he's a smart guy, wants to win. So I think I trust him when he picks up Slim Richie and Swagga, who admittedly were two of the best looking members of Muscle Knots, especially in losses. Oh, it is you. Okay, so I have no idea who the other guy's mid laner actually is, because you're on Pop-Off Gaming now, right? But in any case, I did notice that Slim Richie does have 126 games on Swain Top, and he does have a 52% win rate. So I'm wondering, will that show if that kind of... Wait, you are on the other guys. Someone... Okay. I was told... Yeah, they put you on the website. They put you in on Pop-Off Gaming. So don't believe Pop-Off Gaming's mid laner. It's still not. It's still not real. Okay. So no clue what they're doing over on the TO's side here. So this is then B-Pots. Okay, so Slickums... Oh. There we go. Slickums, he's got a lot of Trundle. He's got a lot of Trundle in his match history. Obviously, as the jungle, Trundle is not bad. He's, in fact, quite good. So, but 7 of his past 10 games were Trundle in ranked. And he also has a lot of solo queue history on Echo, Wukong, Vi. A little bit unorthodox, considering that the name of the game right now is those aggressive early junglers, or just the aggressive, or the strong clearing jungles. But I'm interested to see how that plays out, because of course it's gold, anything can happen. Now, B-Pots, he's an ADC main. I don't know why he's playing mid. I didn't look him up because gold had like 3 roster swaps this morning. So, Pop-Off Gaming now. They don't have a mid. And that's actually true now. They are a completely new team. I don't recognize any of these names, so we're just going off of solo queue. Toothpick Samurai, lot of Ornn. But he doesn't have that many games overall, so it's just the majority of his games are on Ornn. But I am a little bit concerned just because, if he's just kind of playing the easy face roll Ornn, he's not going, who knows what he's also practiced. If you ban Ornn, what does that leave Pop-Off Gaming's top laner with? Especially since with all these carry top buffs, I mean, the Blade of the Ruined King buff, yeah, their games are going to be 4v5s. Maybe they'll just pick up a mid laner called X, and he's going to give it to you. So, Bo Carnity, the jungler, he only has 100 games in solo queue, which, admittedly, as I kept going and through the Platinum and Diamond teams, I realized 100 games is actually a lot for some, to expect for some people. But he does have a very diverse champion pool. His top played champion is Jarvan, 15 games, and that's it. That's 15 games on Jarvan. The rest of it is all a bunch of different jungles and different roles, autofills, whatnot. Jarvan will probably be his top played jungle. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. Jarvan's strong. He's a safe pick, and it's kind of free low in gold just because he's so consistent, especially with the flag and drag if you can pull off the flash afterward. So, skipping the mid lane because we don't know. Generic brand, he does have decent AD stats, kind of the trend that I saw through a lot of ADs in this in Summer Splash overall is that they play all of the ADs, or at least all of the ones that could even be considered decent. And Generic brand is no exception. He is the generic brand of Summer Splash ADs. But he only has like 80 games played, so of course you can't draw a super strong conclusion like, oh, this guy's hard stuck silver. I think most of these guys are silver. Obviously it's gold capped, so no one's judging you if you're still silver, especially during Corona. Then Unique Senpai, he has 150 games on Nami and Blitzcrank together, and then he's got 50 games on every other champ combined. And it's like it's impressive though because his Nami and Blitzcrank are super good. Together, across those 150 games, he's got a 57% win rate on the two of them, but the rest of his champs kind of drag it down. It's a 51% overall win rate. So Nami and Blitzcrank are two things that you don't really want to give into his hands. And Nami, in general, is going to be very contested here in gold. Pretty much every support plays Nami in this bracket, except for Oath, which is an interesting one. Actually, let me go back to that. Oath plays hook champs. He plays Thresh, Nautilus, a lot of a little more mechanical champs than like Janna, Nami. This will be interesting to see because Oath, he is a mid laner by trade, which means if he can just start popping off in the bot lane, killing these supports, winning these 2v2s, it could just very much be a bot-centric micro meta here for gold. Now, Emergent Gaming is our fourth one, and it's another new team. Thank you, Psycho, for gifting a tier 1 sub to Zalium, and thank you, Zalium, for the sub. 8 Blades, the top laner and captain of Emergent Gaming. He has a lot of Irelia games recently, but he only has 65 games overall, so there's really not much to go on. But if the Irelia is anything to draw a conclusion off of, he's probably going to be going for more carry tops, probably not going to be going for those Orns or Maokais that we've seen recently. The jungle, rounding Ross, Leona, Elise, Kayn. He plays pretty much all of the early game jungles, but those three are his top three. And his highest, he's got the highest number of games and the highest rank on the team. It'll probably be kind of his game when Emergent Gaming plays. Ornn and Maokai are carries. They do enough damage, they just don't die. He's probably going to be the power point, at least in the early game, because he's going to be playing these early game junglers. He will be able to control the game for his team, and he will probably be what has to get them out of holes when Emergent Gaming ends up digging themselves in. Counters, the mid laner. He has 25 games played, 32% win rate, and he has no mid games on his account. I'm not sure if it's a smurf. I'm not sure if he just plays scrims or clash or ARAMs, but draw the conclusions that you want. Jintervention, surprisingly, not a Jhin one trick. He has 46 games on Jhin and 46 games on Caitlyn, and pretty much, that's surprising, 46 games on Jhin and Caitlyn each, but he really doesn't have great stats on him. He's, again, 46 games on each of those champions, and by far that's the highest. So he's got like 120, 150 games tops, and his win rates aren't super good on most ADCs. Jinx and Ashe are his two standouts, and granted, both of them are pretty decent right now, so he could start to pop off, especially if Rounding Ross starts visiting the bot lane, camping the living bejesus out of him. And then 100 Boston rounds out Emergent Gaming's roster. His top 4 are Leona, Not, Nami, and Morgana. So he plays a little bit of both, a little bit of engage hook champs, a little bit of enchanters. The Nami, as I said earlier, is going to be very hotly contested here. and he has super good KDAs on his enchanters, and he really looks like a good solo queue support, especially since, those 4 are some of the best solo queue supports in the meta right now. So that kind of rounds out all 4 of those teams, their players. So now my gold, actually no, I'm not going to do my gold predictions. I built another slide for that. I'm going to introduce the plat teams. Thanks for reminding me to set up audio, because I definitely would not have remembered to do that. Return to the Middle Sticks is looking stacked. They are the first team that we're going through. Vbon, he is returning from a brief hiatus. He was on the KSU team. I believe he won with that team.
You muted.
No, I just didn't have my audio set up. Yeah, he's returning. He won on KSU, took 3rd on Good Game Losers. Took a little bit of a break, but he is back now in the top lane, moving down from Diamond to Platinum, which is interesting because, as we'll go over in a little bit, Liposuction lane actually moved back up from Plat to Diamond for Return of the Middle Sticks. But yeah, these are all vets. Aikado coming from GSM. He's looking super good. I mean, he was he was kind of a feast or famine player on GSM. But he plays a lot of early game jungles. Not Olaf and Jarvan, but he plays Graves, Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, and he plays a lot of Kindred. Plays the hell out of Kindred. And in Clash, because Return of the Middle Sticks did clash together all 6 games, he played Kindred 3 times, Graves twice, and 1 Master Yi. But these 6 games were the only time that the whole team was together. X-Craze, now in the mid lane, former ADC of Pigs Might Fly, so he lane swapped and team swapped. He doesn't really have that many mid games, especially recently, on his solo queue, but he has played a pretty diverse set of champs in Clash. Kayn, Liss, Mordekaiser, Talon, Victor, and Syndra. 6 champs, 6 games. So, I guess the only constant is that they're not, tanks. He's not playing Galio. But, I mean, you've got a little bit of control mage. You've got Kayn, just kind of inting. Talon for the assassin, Syndra for that giant burst mage, and Victor for good control. Karista is the ADC now for Return of the Middle Sticks. He promoted up to Return of the Middle Sticks Plat. He was on Gold last split, where he won, I believe. He has 274 games on Kalista and a 52% win rate. 88 games on Ashe, and he played 4 Ashe games, 1 Misfortune, 1 Kalista in Clash. I don't like advocating for banning out anyone's champs twice, like any one person's 2 champions, because that just leaves 1 left in the first ban rotation, but definitely get rid of his Kalista. Maybe get rid of his Ashe if your bot lane is a little bit sus. Then the support, Black Salt, actually returning from Return of the Middle Sticks previously. He was on Return of the Middle Sticks last split. He's a Yuumi player. He plays Yuumi and Nautilus, and then there's a giant drop-off. However, in Clash, he played Zyra 3 times and Pyke once. But I am interested to see the Ashe Nautilus combo, or the Kalista Nautilus, or Kalista Yuumi, because you can't ban all 4 of those champions, Ashe, Nautilus, Kalista, and Yuumi. So you're going to have to give at least one of them away, probably 2 of them. That'll be interesting to see how Karista and Black Salt leverage this, especially against some of these newer bot lanes, like the 3 bot lanes that I'm about to go over. Next up, however, is Glacial Rising Eagles. Bunch of new guys. I don't recognize any of them. And Faulted, he's got a lot of champions, but it looks like in general it tends toward the brawlers and the lane bullies. He's got a lot of Set, Mordekaiser, Renekton, Darius, I'm not expecting a super team-oriented playstyle from this guy, just because if these guys are new, at least new to the competitive scene, if not, or new to GRLCS, if not the competitive scene, I still expect them to be a little more solo queue style, like each lane kind of wants to smash rather than just saying like, okay, screw it, we lose top. So he's got his best performances on Ornn, but he's also Gold 3. So that's an interesting one when you consider that he's going against a couple of people who are coming back down from Diamond, namely Vbon, who we've just gone over, who was a very good top laner in Diamond when he was there. Next up in the jungle is Duddy Brains. He's got more than 500 games in solo queue. He's got another 100 or so in flex, but he has a negative win rate in both Gold 4 in solo queue and Silver 3 in flex. So maybe he's just on a bad run, but that's a lot of games to have a negative win rate. He plays a lot of early junglers, just meta, J4, Olaf, Rek'Sai. And the plurality of his games are on those 3 champions together. Interested to see which side he plays, because I don't think the team has played together that much. The mid laner is Scuba Tree. They changed that this morning, and I wasn't able to look him up. Let's look him up. Scuba Tree. He is Gold 2. Wow, he's got 900 games played with a 48% win rate. But he plays Ahri. He's got 140 games on her with a 61% win rate. Good KDAs. In general, looks like he plays, Sylas, Ahri, Echo are his top 3. He plays Talia, so roaming assassins, a little bit of both. Yeah, they changed their top support in jungle this week as well. It's just that they did their mid laner this morning. Wait, like they just changed them? Are you kidding me? Jeez. I'm not happy. Oh, and Nubly's playing. Well, at least I have notes for him. His top 3 played champs are on jungle. So, he was the mid laner. Now he's subbing top lane, and his top 3 champs are jungle. He does have good win rates on Syndra and Diana, but of course they aren't top laners. So, okay, at least I can talk about their ADC, Epic Fail Guy 456, who is not being subbed out this week. He is one of the 2 plat players on the team. Well, I suppose Peon's the other one, but I guess not anymore, because he's getting subbed out. Yeah, he's one of the 2 plat players on the team, and he does have positive records on all of his top 7 ADCs, and he also has a lot of Yasuo in his history. He's got a 65% win rate on Yasuo. I believe that's his 6th most played champion. Varus is his best AD, 67% win rate. He's got a big champion pool. I mean, he's an ADC, and the skills are pretty transferable, so it's just good to see that. And then Peon is getting subbed out, but I'll just read my notes for him anyway. He is a one-trick. He's a Janna one-trick. He's got 150 games on Janna of like the 200 games that he has total. He's got a 4.3 KDA, 53% win rate, and his second most played champion is Nami with 15 games. I think you know where this is going, ban Janna. Next up, Divine Ascension Black. Returning from last split, with Void Alive and JDK, they've swapped out their bot lane and their jungle, and they made 5th in their conference last split, which was just under the cutoff for playoffs. So they're coming back, hoping to see if they can do any better this time. So Void Alive is Silver 4, but he has only played 27 games, so of course, it doesn't really matter. Like, 27 games is not an accurate sample size to judge whether he's hard stuck Silver 4. He was the mid laner, and apparently over the offseason he has swapped with JDK, and he's moving top. So he's actually played a lot of normals recently, probably just practicing the champion, but he's playing Malphite top in normals. So I'm interested to see where that goes. The jungle is D-Black or Based God Kurama. D-Black is the account that has more games on it, and it also didn't cut off the logo when I put it in. He plays early junglers, Elise, Graves, Kha'Zix, J4, Nocturne, that's an interesting one. And recently he has played a lot of games with JDK, so I'm expecting to see some jungle mid synergy, especially in these early weeks where everyone else is kind of looking to build that team synergy. The people who have already worked on it before the split starts obviously going to have a significant advantage. Next up is JDK, the other returning member of Divine Ascension. He plays Zoe, Silas, and Cassiopeia. He's got about 500 games in solo queue and a solid 50% win rate in Gold 1. But, he's Gold 1. So, yes, that's below what Return of the Middlesticks is at right now, but it's also right under the Platinum capped cutoff. So that's where it starts to go from rank diff to teamwork. And since he's been working with Void Alive, obviously last split, and now he's been doing with D-Black or Based God Kurama, you can work on that a lot. And that can really make up for any kind of perceived rank difference. Next up is the bot lane, both of them from SRC. They were pickups, and neither of them is actually in their role. Lexar is a little more of a jack-of-all-trades type. He plays a lot of mid and plays a lot of jungle, kind of. I think jungle is probably his autofill role, but he will likely have synergy with Divine, since they have the shared tag, and they have played a lot of games together recently, and with other members with the SRC tag. Divine, on the other hand, he is a jungler. It's interesting that Divine Ascension managed to find a bot lane that isn't a bot lane. That they're a jungle mid duo. However, just knowing each other is generally good enough to do things in that 2v2. Next up, Bucky's Abusement Park, rounding out the first half of Platinum. All new, all fresh. Slim Kim, Volibear, and Kled are his top twos, and with the Volibear rework coming out soon, I'm interested to see whether Slim Kim will continue playing the bear, or if he'll have to stick with Kled and switch on to Bucky's Abusement Park. Greatest name in the split? It's pretty good. It is pretty good. He hasn't played with the rest of the team, however, Slim Kim that is, so maybe top will just be an island in their games. Array is an early jungler. He plays Lee, lots of Lee. Again, no shared history. Neutral laner, he has 17 games. But he has played a fair amount recently with Limitations. Limitations is probably one of the better players on the team. He's got 250 games, and he's Plat 4 with a solid win rate. And he plays a lot of different ADs, like a lot of the other ADCs that we have seen, that we've gone over so far. He has no shared history with Katana Blade, so that is a little bit of a question mark just because 2v2s, it's a 2v2, it's not a 1v1v1v1. Katana Blade does have 69 Senna games, nice, and a 68% win rate, and he's also Plat 4, along with Limitations. So the bot lane probably will end up being the strong point of Bucky's Abusement Park, and that's going hand in hand with Glacial Rising Eagles, and hopefully Bucky's can pull themselves together as a team, because it is always nice to see teams play the map. None of them are Bucky. The Abusement Park is Summoner's Rift. Next up, GSM, 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 Gecko Slammer Armageddon. Returning here, they took, what did they take? 5th? 6th? They didn't make semifinals, but they did make it to quarters. I believe they lost out there, and of course we don't play 5 through 8 consolation matches. They tied for 5th. But they have basically won the off-season because they got the jungle mid and ADC of the top team in Platinum. So Jack Loves Lamp is back, our boy Jack. He plays a fairly wide variety of champions, got put on Poppy and Kled a fair amount last split. He is a good weak side top laner. He's a really good weak side top laner and can generally do a lot with, in that 1v1 or just avoid getting killed in the 2v1. The only page with all logos. There is one more page with all logos. Diamond and Platinum each had one team who didn't submit a logo. Waterbear, champion of 3 consecutive splits. The probably best jungle in Platinum Cap, definitely in the top 3 at any given time. Plays a lot of early carries, Lee, Olaf. Played a lot of Kayn, split before last, and plays a lot of Graves now in his history. He's the best. I'm going to go out and say he is the best jungler in any given plat split. Midnight Slushy, he doesn't play mid in solo queue, but everyone knows his Cassiopeia is filthy. He plays a lot of control, a lot of long-range mages. He has pulled out the Yasuo as a counter pick a few times. So, again, just another solid laner, and he is the late-game carry. He was the late-game carry of Sensei Squad. Boosted Asian. On stream, he confessed to being an Aphelios Varus 2 trick, but that was mostly because the situation either almost always called for Aphelios or Varus. But his match history suggests he can play anyone, except Ezreal. He's got like a 35% win rate on Ezreal. Ari, I know you're the captain. Don't let this man draft Ezreal. And then Ari Panda, 260 games in Plat 4, 50% win rate, plays Nami and Leona. She plays Nami and Leona. That's like, those are the two. And like both of them, they both slot in really well into two different ideas. Yeah, I hate playing with Ezreal. That's then good. Don't ever draft it. So yeah, Nami, Leona, they're two significantly different supports from each other. They fill very different roles, so that's a good thing. Obviously, we don't want one person who can just play enchanters because you can screw that over with dive supports. 9 million games in Plat 4. 50% win rate, dead even. Next up, Business Time. They last showed up in fall 2019, but this time, Kilgar is back with his buddy OSU Alarm, and they picked up Bon Voyage from Cosmic Flow, who is not returning this summer. ATL Cartel is a little bit of a wild card because he doesn't have that many games, but he does have a 59% win rate, and he's in Gold 1, so either he's climbing or he's really lucky. He plays a lot of Olaf top, which is interesting. Business Time 15, he's a Lee Olaf player, garden variety jungle, but he does have some Karthus, couple games of Karthus in his match history, and he has played a fair amount with Kilgar recently, which, brings a smile on my face. I do like seeing teammates playing together. But he hasn't played with Bon Voyage, so no mid-jungle synergy. Bon Voyage, he has 39 games in ranked, but he played the hell out of Ziggs, and Cosmic Flow only started losing when people started banning Ziggs. Ban Ziggs. OSU Alarm is the former ADC of the Piltover Pokes, and he is back. 21 games on Ezreal with a sub 50% win rate, and that's his top one. However, he does have good numbers on Kai'Sa and Jinx. Recently, he's got a couple games with Cartel and Kilgar, and that means there should be like good communication with top from the bot lane, because teleport plays, they're good. Then finally, Kilgar, our boy, the leader of Business Time. His match history is all ADC. He plays ADC in ranked. So, he does have Senna games, so maybe Alarm Kilgar, just go for that double ADC bot lane. Then we have Hidden Weeb Village. This is basically the Isle of Misfit Toys of Platinum Capped. Hog Pasta Boy plays a little bit of everything. He's the bargain bin of top laners. You've got some Nasus, some Set, some Ornn, some Scion, some nonsense. Jelly Roll is the former Return of the Middlesticks gold jungler. He plays a lot of Lee Sin. Played a lot of really good Lee Sin in gold cap last split, and he was like super good at getting the team ahead and making plays straight through the game. So Pachi, his match history looks like top, but he is the mid laner here. Oh, X-Craze's roommate. Cool. Yeah, so he's X-Craze's roommate, which means at some point here, they get to go up against each other, and they'll probably be hearing each other screaming across comms. So far with the team... Oh, next week, so week 2, Hidden Weeb Village takes on Return of the Middlesticks. Neat. But yeah, when they practiced with the team, he played a couple of different varied mid laners, Galio, Kiana, and Syndra. Little bit of everything. GSM Levi's, the ADC of Hidden Weeb Village, has the GSM tag for some reason. He won Fall 2019 and took second in Spring 2020 just recently in Gold Capped, and now he's back in Plat, so it is the first time in a while that GSM Levi's is not laning with Silver Spade 10. He is laning with Psycho. The man plays enchanters. That is all. MG Blaze is up next, and they are a new team, but they do have 2 teams in Summer Splash, so I'm assuming that they're fairly well put together, because any person who has the patience to put together a franchise of teams with 2 separate logos, mind you, I trust them. At least I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, although we saw what happened last split. Loops is their top laner. He plays Darius, Garen, and Mordekaiser. Call it set 1 TFT Knights. It's just lane bullies. He plays a lot of lane bullies. Then we've got the MG crew, these 4 boys. Nunu has 115 Nunu games, and he has a 60% win rate. He also has a lot of Sejuani and some Gragas, so he's really not going for those early aggressive junglers like pretty much everyone else is. He doesn't really have many early game jungles at all in his match history. So it'll be interesting to see how the laners of MG Blaze stack up without a lot of jungle pressure. Zyra is a 61% win rate Cassiopeia, and also plays Syndra and Corki, so that he's like an LCS draft mid laner. He hasn't played with Nunu recently, but he has played with Bubble Lift. So, roams, I guess. I don't know. Bubble Lift has a 70% win rate MF over, 47 games? And he's got about 600 total games in Gold 3. He plays a little bit of everything, including jungle and mid. So, actually, yeah, a little bit of flexing here on this team. So maybe there's situational flexes. Then Wardbox plays not in Leona for his top 2 supports, but he also has games on Lulu, Bard, and Rakan, and recently he has been playing off and on with Bubble Lift. So, bot synergy? Who knows? Thank you, Psycho, again for another sub. Primal Surge, welcome to the club, or to the Twitch channel. Now, that's actually all 8 of the Plat teams, so we are moving on to Diamond. Y'all keep me honest with that audio. Return of the Treeline is the evil twin of Return of the Middlesticks, because they're made up of all of the replacements from Return of the Middlesticks. When Prodigium couldn't play and they didn't want to find a full new bot lane, they picked up Haley, Kyoko, and Woohoojin, who went to the bot lane. Then Prodigium came back, so they booted Haley, Kyoko, and Woohoojin, who then proceeded to pick up Divine, who was also on Return of the Middlesticks for a while, Arco, who I think is their friend, and Cagti. And they made Return of the Treeline. Arco, formerly of the PPC, he is the guy who got Challenger in Latin America North, and he's back. His main account is called Ornn. It's an Ornn 1 trick. His real, quote-unquote, main has 12 Skarner games and no solo queue rank. And that's it. So don't try to ban Ornn, because he can just play other things. He's Challenger. Divine is the jungler of last split's Return of the Middlesticks. Tendies came back into the jungle because Liposuction came back up from Platinum, so Divine was booted. He made Return of the Treeline. He's Diamond 3 in solo queue and Bronze 1 in flex. So, plays a lot of Zac and Ivern, and last split he was able to rely on strong lanes early, which meant that he could play these more scaling junglers, and I don't think that really anything will change from last split to this one because he's still going to be dealing with very strong laners. Haley Kyoko, for example, while Alex was the support of Return of the Middlesticks last split. Now Haley Kyoko is in mid. Alex is a he. There we go. He's in mid now. That means that Woohoojin is missing the other half of the Draven Thresh duo that wrecked every other bot lane in Diamond except for GSM's. We'll see how mid treats him. Woohoojin his account doesn't suggest anything at all because it seems like Return of the Treeline just does their practice in scrims or Smurf accounts. Woohoojin has 15 games total. Then Cagty, 14 games in Gold 1 with a 43% win rate. I'm guessing that still, I don't recognize the name, don't know who Cagty is, but I'm guessing they do their practice in scrims. The numbers lie sometimes because, they're not real. Return of the Middlesticks is up next, the champions of Spring 2020. However, only one member is returning, Tendies, who is moving from the top lane to the jungle, back to the jungle. 3 of the champions from last split's Return of the Middlesticks are now on Return of the Treeline, as I mentioned. Liposuction lane, coming back up from Plat, returning to Diamond. And his ranked history does say he has been playing the 1v1 lane bullies, Aatrox, Mordekaiser, Wukong, Gangplank, Urgot. I mean, that should be fun, right? 1v1s in top lane are never boring, especially when it's Ornn versus Maokai. Tendies is moving back to jungle from last split's top lane. He doesn't really have that much jungle played in solo queue, but he was one of the best junglers in Diamond when he played jungle, so gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Dat dang dude, he's been playing Pyke mid recently, but he also has games on Zoe, Echo, Sylas, and Vel'Koz. He does have prior experience, and 4 recent games with Tendies does suggest that they've just been rebuilding that jungle mid synergy. Then Prodigium, nay, Fourth Shot, is back. His match history is 500 games of support right now. I'm interested to see where this goes. Then Maximus does play more. Okay, yeah, so I thought he played ADC for school. Didn't realize he was switching to support. But Maximus 127, he does have more supports, but he's got a 46% win rate in solo queue, so how's this going to work? He does have some Senna games, so maybe they're going to do that for a little while Prodigium gets back into the swing of playing AD. Then GSM Diamond, the third place team from last split. It's the same exact team. They literally didn't change anyone. Rito Torchic changed his name to Ian Hong. That's all that happened. General Vici plays that combination of split pushing 1v... Wait, no. Yevenifer's new, isn't it? Yeah, Yevenifer's new. General Vici plays that combination of split pushing 1v1 champs and then the big team fighters depending on how the team wants to play it. He's a good weak side top laner. That's the GSM brand. Shiny Bidoof, lots of early junglers, but we all know how he waters the bushes on Gragas. He's another staple of GSM's playstyle. If he plays early games, you're gonna get a faster paced game. If he plays late game, you're gonna have this super long 45-minute slugfest where General Vici ends up winning the game on Yorick. Fizzer or Yevenifer plays Rumble, Diana, Echo, and Sylas. So that's a weird combination of team fighty assassins. And he's got a 53% win rate across 200 games. So no question marks here from me. Ian Hong, formerly Rito Torchic. His MF, his Jinx, those are his 2 big signatures. 55% win rate in Diamond 2, so he's good. He's doing okay. He's got 61% win rate on his Misfortune and a 77% win rate on Jinx. There's not really much you can do to stop him from winning the late game, so just try and shut him down early. Then, Catalyst 7401 has a lot of history with Rito Torchic or Ian Hong, 52% win rate over 500 games, and he plays engaged supports Leona and Thresh, and then he also plays Yuumi, all of which are very good with things like Misfortune and Jinx. And he works with the GSM's late game strategy. He plays with the it's the Torchic carry game. Now MG Eclipse. Okay, I do have notes. Another a couple more switches from them. Terrorizer just joined. Terrorizer though he plays Kennen, Maokai, and Shen, which means consistent lanes focused on mid and late game team fights. 700 games plus and a 52% win rate. But he hasn't really moved anywhere in the last 2 months. He climbed up from Platinum, and now he's like sitting there flat in Diamond 4. Ambrose has 400 games, but he's got 61 games on Kha'Zix, and that's his top. Pretty much means that he's going to be playing a lot of different junglers. He plays Elise, Sett, Kayn. Those are all some of his top junglers, but they've only, again, got like 30 games apiece on him. I expect he's going to be able to play anything. Specifically going toward these early game, charge into your face junglers. And he does have all sorts of different roles in his recents played. Maybe they're working on switching, flexing, throwing everyone off. Tyler, fairly underwhelming performance on Sylas, which is his top champion. It's like a 39% win rate, I think. But he does have a lot of good, recent good Irelia games. Maybe he's going for a little more AD, in-your-face, bruiser, assassin type. Maybe he'll get some Yasuo in there. He does flex jungle and sometimes top, so again, maybe lane swaps are going to be in MG Eclipse's future. Then we've got Is Too Good and Oshkosh with the MG tags. Is Too Good has a great win rate on Tristana and Twitch, 78% on Tristana and 86% on Twitch. However, those are like his 5th and 7th most played champions. Kalista, Kate, and Ezreal are in his top 3, and they've got sub 45% win rates. Then Oshkosh, he plays hooks and divers. Thresh, Not, Leona, and Braum. He does have a couple of Nami and Rakan games on record, and he's got a decent blitz win rate, so maybe if Is Too Good bumps up his Kalista performance, they can do the Ballista combo, because that's super good again. Works really well. The Oshkosh's champions work well with MG Eclipse's bot lane. Then, on to the second half of... We have Stuck Gaming, which is pretty much most of Dog with Hat Gang from last split. They have replaced their jungle Doc with Mike Oxmall Bros, and then 2019 Offended is being replaced by Lord Reeves. Parry difference was the difference in a lot of Dog with Hat Gang's games. He has a 57% win rate on Sett, and he solo carried a bunch of games on Fiora and Sett, and the good news is the entire team of Stuck Gaming does play together, so they are going to be coming out of the gate a little bit hotter with their team synergy. Mike Oxmall Bros. A lot of Kindred games on record, but he only has a 38% win rate. However, he does have a lot of good-looking Nocturne games in solo queue, so if they're trying to go for that snowball type, get a bunch of kills, delete the ADC, and walk away clean, maybe. Killering is the Ahri kid. He's got a 60% win rate on Ahri, and that's over 100 games. And otherwise, he plays a lot of control mages. He plays Orianna, Lissandra, Malzahar. The Ahri is just kind of his thing. Vital has a 42% win rate across a lot of games. He's got decent Senna stats and a 48% Aphelios, but overall, it just doesn't look great just off of the numbers for solo queue for this ADC. Lord Reeves, on the other hand, pretty much all plays mid in solo queue. However, he has been flexing with the team, so he's played a bunch of different ADs. Or not ADs, supports. He played Not, Swain, and a little bit of Karma. So like multiple games on Nautilus and Swain, and then 2 games on Karma. So Stuck Gaming, looking good, mostly because they're bringing that core of parry, killering, and vital. back from last split. Next up is Divine Ascension White, which is the, big sister team of Divine Ascension Black. We've got Mr. McGumfries. He has a lot of tanky boys. Maokai, Galio, and Mordekaiser, in particular, have 61, 71, and 73% win rates over an appreciable number of games. So, beefcakes up in the top lane, maybe a little bit of just slapping each other with wet noodles up there. Soul Chaser, the jungler, very little in terms of match history, but it's almost all junglers, and it's like 30 games on Rek'Sai, but he hasn't played with the team recently, so we have no way of knowing. We have no way of knowing how the team is going to work together, at least through the jungle. Best Liss Taiwan has 165 games on Liss, but surprisingly, a 65% win rate on Kassadin, with, again, 30 or so games. He's got really good KDAs across the board, and he has been playing with Mr. McGumfries and Silly Goose, the AD. So we'll have to see how the solo queue mid laner playstyle will work for Summer Splash. Silly Goose, he does have high win rates on most of his ADCs, but he has low numbers of games, which, again, could just be a misnomer, could be not statistically significant. He's got 24 Misfortune games, but not that many games with K-God K. No bot synergy here. K-God K, on the other hand, has a lot of Thresh games and no other supports. It looks like he's been playing in Flex with a couple of Enchanters rather than with that Thresh. Maybe they're just trying out different things. So Divine Ascension, overall, not too much information on them, just because they haven't been playing all that much, except for a few games with each other. Question mark XD, some ancient boys. Mechanical Reaper, back in the top lane, the man, the boy, the Shen, the top lane support group. He has a 59% solo queue win rate in D1, and a 5.22 KDA on Shen. Get it the hell out of here. Doc, on the other hand, the man knows his early aggressive junglers. That's literally the only note I wrote for him. Because Doc plays the hell out of all sorts of early aggressive junglers. He's clapped cheeks with the Trundle. He's carried games on Olaf. Just be prepared if you're a jungle going against Doc. Fiction doesn't have many support or many solo queue games on mid, but he does have a lot of recent Yasuo games in Flex, Normals, a couple of solo queue games. The majority of his games are on Ahri, but it's just another mid laner. He's no killering, say that. Let's Have Fun has a good Ez win rate, but he isn't positive on any other ADC in solo queue with enough games. The plurality of his games are really on Morgana, so he doesn't play all that much ADC. Then Curb Stomp, Blitz, Braum, Nautilus, Lulu, Morgana, and Zyra. He has a high win rate on anything and everything, and he's been a super consistent support since he joined the GRLCS. So, even if Let's Have Fun picks a subpar ADC that he's not super good on, Curb Stomp can just put him on his back. I guarantee it. Then, finally, the Sensei Squad is kind of the black sheep of Sensei Squad, where the Platinum team won 3 splits in a row. Sensei Squad Diamond hasn't made playoffs, I don't think. They are captained by Waterbear, interestingly, even though he's not playing on the team, and in fact he has gone to GSM. So Naja 830, 41% win rate in Plat 3 over a good number of games. He gives me a little bit of pause, especially when you consider that he's going to have to be going up against top laners like Parry Difference and Mechanical Reaper and Vici and Arco. I mean, if they pick a carry, they could just wipe the floor with him very easily. Good luck next season. He's got a 64% win rate on Lee Sin, but he also doesn't have any recent games with the team. So, synergy questions, but Lee Sin is fairly good at kind of solo winning these early games and allowing the team to scale up, especially when you can just find picks for your team. Essence Stalker is a cast one trick. He's got 116 games, and his second most played is 17 games. Great stats on Kassadin, but you can just ban him out. Very easy to do that. Thank you for the follow, Prime Legacy. Desired Gun. He is Gold 1 in Diamond Capped, and he's got a 46% win rate. Enough said. The team captain is actually Essence Stalker. Okay, good, because Water Bear was listed as the team captain. I was like, not again, because last split he did that and forgot to submit like 5 post-match forms. Will I Ever Quit is the support. Nami, Thresh, Braum, Morgana, and Blitz, they all look really good, and they all have high KDAs. All of them have high win rates. Likely, Will I Ever Quit will end up being the power of Sensei Squad, especially in the bot lane, kind of keeping the team afloat and building up these leads, because he has 5 champions that all look really good, whereas I'd say Essence Stalker and Good Luck Next Season are the other 2 that like could definitely do some good stuff, but they have shallow champion pools. So that is it for our recap of the Gold, Plat, and Diamond teams. Now, let's switch over and see what my ridiculous predictions are. So, take a look. My predictions, this is definitely more weighted toward the beginning, like the first half of the Summer Splash, just because I have no way of knowing how good the teams that haven't played together are once they've built that team synergy. But Gold, pretty simple. Gods of Herald is the 3rd place team from last split. I think they just made side grades in top and mid. ROTT is Return of the Tree Line. It's the PPC rename, yeah. So, Gods of Herald, I expect them to be first place just because they have that synergy coming in. They made a couple of side grades. Next, I'm going to say the other guys. 3 of them have experience playing in GRLCS. Oath, I think, is a really good mid laner, and if he's a bot laner, I think his style as a support counters the other 3 supports in Gold. Then Pop Off Gaming after that, and finally bringing up the rear is EMG. Don't have that much information on those 2 teams, so I kind of made a judgment call based on who I know of the teams and what their previous play history looked like with each other. Pop Off Gaming just played a little bit more with each other. Platinum, I'm not going to read all of them out, but GSM took 3/5 of Sensei Squad. Of course they're going to look good, especially early. Also GSM, Ari Panda, and Jack Loves Lamp, the 2 returning members, that team was no slouch either. Return of the Middle Sticks up next, because they are bringing together a lot of really good individual members. They just don't have all sorts of synergy with each other because most of them are coming from different teams. After that, MG Blaze, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to an organization. I think with good practice together, consistent coaching, etc., they certainly have the potential to just take 3rd, maybe even 2nd, who knows. Hidden Weeb Village, Business Time, Bucky's Abusement Park, Divine Ascension, and Glacial Rising. That was kind of the soup. I had to guess based on what I knew of the players and the fairly limited amounts of time that they played with each other. I think Hidden Weeb Village ended up being toward the top because they played with each other more, because they played a bunch of flex queue games together. Glacial Rising, I think, was my big question mark, because they were mostly low gold, except for their bot lane, and their bot lane, one of them was a Janna 1-trick. Then, in Diamond, Return of the Tree Line, as it's being said in chat, kind of the PPC rename, and the PPC absolutely blasted the rest of Diamond last Summer Splash. So, I think Divine, Haley Kyoko, and Woohoojin were 3 of the best players of Return of the Middle Sticks last split, and since that team won, I think it's not a far cry to say they can win again. GSM was the 3rd place team, but also they're keeping the same core of the team. They're just swapping out the mid laner, so I think that's going to afford them a lot more ability and synergy moving forward than Stuck Gaming, who is the rename of Dog with Hat Gang, who took 2nd last time. They switched out 2 members instead of 1, so I bumped them down a place. Return of the Middle Sticks is next, because I didn't want to put them higher before seeing how Liposuction Lane plays in Diamond again, because he kind of took the vacation split in Platinum, and then since Prodigium is back and he hasn't been playing ADC, that's another little bit of a question mark. Question mark XD, speaking of, is 5th, mostly because I know these players are known quantities. Then Divine Ascension Gaming, MGE. Sensei Squad was my bottom because rank diff. It's one thing when you're in Platinum and you're in Gold 3. It's another thing when you're in Diamond and you're in Gold 3. So, if Sensei Squad comes out with some amazing synergy, I will apologize. But for now, the numbers don't lie all the time. They do lie for Return of the Tree Line because each of them has like 5 Smurf accounts. I don't think they lie for Sensei Squad because they should have been submitting all of their Smurf accounts. So that is my prediction. I actually will screenshot this and post it in the Discord. And then I will discuss how this will be run, or how the Summer Splashdown will be run in the future. So, back to full camera. The Summer Splashdown, it is a podcast, but I won't be having guests or anything on it. It'll just be me recapping. So I figured that gives us a little more time for chat interaction, a little more time for in-depth recaps, rather than like analysis and predictions, because people don't like my predictions or my analysis. So I figured what we could do is kind of go for recaps. I would explain how they went, maybe if there were any notable plays, I'd talk about them, or notable games, upsets, things like that. Then I was thinking we do a little clip contest, clip of the week, the Summer Splash clip of the week. Of course, we have a game clips channel in the Discord. So post your clips there and just make sure to tag it with your summoner name, what game it was, and of course the team's playing, and the week. Tag it with those 4 things, and I'll make sure to sort through them. We can even watch them through if we have the time on stream, and just kind of do a general vote of who won. Bragging rights is always good. And then I was thinking I can pick one game a week and just kind of solo cast it, discuss it, do a little bit, do a little dance, make a little love. I don't know. This is really a work in progress, and it's supposed to be tailored to what y'all want. So please, if you have any recommendations for what you want to see on the podcast in future weeks, let me know. I will look at it. If it seems like it's a good idea, I'll definitely use it. For now, head to the Discord, talk shit on me for my predictions, tell me that you're way better than 7th place, and this is a short one since it's just the opening one. I will be back next Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Time, and I will be recapping Week 1's games. So thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the chat interaction, because that's super important for a podcast like this, since it's just me. I don't have any guests. After that, I don't think we have any real announcements aside from schedule your games, get them played, and rock out, Splashdown. And thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure to podcast for you and to predict for you, and I will see you next Sunday with our Week 1 recap.